this information right here can not only help you in the boardroom, can not only help you in the Zoom meeting, but it can probably help you in your relationships as well. Number one, pay full attention. What I mean by that, when someone is speaking, okay, give them your full attention. Put away distractions such as your phone, electronic devices. This signals to whoever you're talking to that you value what they have to say. So let's use a couple scenarios now. If you are being interviewed by an interviewer, okay, it is very important to use this active listening. We need to write down the critical things that they are saying during this interview because it cues what we need to say. So if we don't fully pay attention to what are they really looking for, what did they say is important, what are their challenges, if we don't do these things, if we aren't really dialed in, all distractions set away, we're going to miss some vital information that could cost us this new career. Number two, try to avoid interrupting that individual while you're communicating to them. Okay. Number three, use nonverbal cues. What you say is important. How you say it, much more important. We can tell people that we're qualified. We can tell people that we can handle those challenges. We could do certain things, but are you really saying it with conviction? Are you saying it so people can believe you? Nonverbal cues consist around just, hey, maintaining eye contact, nodding, showing them that you're paying attention, keeping that good body posture, showing them that you're actively engaged in the conversation. Number four, these small introductions, just like, yes, I understand, I see, go on, help to like affirm that you're actually paying attention and encourage that person to continue speaking. These are good to do while you're on an interview, letting them know that you are still paying attention. And if you have questions, asking those questions. Number five, paraphrase and summarize. This is so important. This not only demonstrates that you've understood who's ever talking, but also gives them an opportunity to clarify if you've misunderstood something. Let's talk about a sales pitch, right? Which could be an interview. We want to have all the information before we respond. Who wants to respond when they have a fraction of the information? Hardly anybody. Who wants to respond when we have all of the information that we truly need? Most everybody, right? So how do we do this? After they're done talking, do we need to clarify anything? Let's say the interviewer gave you a challenge of, hey, the turnover is 35%. Now it's time to ask clarifying questions. What have you already tried? Was it effective? Did it help? How much money is this costing you? All of those clarifying questions we talked about on a different podcast, right? So I get the information, make sure I have all the clarifying information, and then before I'm about to speak, recap this. Number six, ask open-ended questions. Instead of those questions that require a simple yes or no answer, right? Ask those open-ended questions that prompt to elaborate more on their thoughts. This encourages a deeper conversation and shows your genuine interest. You should be doing this. My two favorite questions to ask on interviews, if you haven't seen prior episodes, are, hey, can you give me a brief example of what you're really looking for? Yes, open-ended question. These are all the things I'm looking for. Hey, can you give me some examples of some challenges that you're having inside this current business unit? Ask these open-ended questions while you're on the interviews. Show empathy, pretty self-explanatory, right? Recognize and acknowledge how the speaker feels. This not only validates their emotions, but build trust, mainly probably when you're dealing with your team or your boss. Area where most people struggle, number 8, avoid jumping to conclusions, right? So before we make all these assumptions or rushing to judgment, seek to understand the speaker's perspective. Number 9, provide constructive feedback. If you're asked for feedback from your team, hypothetically, give it thoughtfully and respectively, making sure to offer suggestions for improvement rather than just criticism. Probably one of the biggest leadership mistakes out there. So many people think that they can't, tell someone that they need to improve, but by not doing that and not doing that in a tactful manner, you have a gap in your department and they stay stuck, not able to enhance their knowledge, skills, and abilities. Number 10, stay focused on the speaker's words, not your own thoughts. And I know that this is difficult for lots of people because we often get caught up in formulating our own response, like listening to respond. Okay. We're formulating our own response while others are still speaking. So we have to try to resist this impulse and stay focused on this speaker's words to remember, make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, there will be a time to craft a response. 11, follow up, right? After a conversation takes place, we did this early on in my corporate career when I was the first director of ops, right? After the conversations, if any action items are discussed, make sure to follow up via email. This shows that you not only listened, but were also committed to supporting or addressing the concerns. Anytime we had a client communication, like over the phone, we would always send an email to the boss, to me, and to the client. Hey, client, just wanted to wrap up that you said that you were struggling here and you had some concerns this, and this is the plan we put in place. If you have any questions, please let me know. So these 11 tips, while seem easy, most people struggle with them. Most people struggle to have effective communication and to improve their overall communication. And if you want to lead large teams one day and you don't have these basic principles, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. It's also going to make it a lot more difficult on interviews, building relationships with your network. Our communication is so paramount. My one ask for you is that you continually work on enhancing your executive communication. I'm sure everyone could learn just a little bit more on communication, and these basic principles will absolutely serve you well. And as always, if you need help in your career, right, in any facet, go on over to execupgrades.com/podcast. We'd love to be an additional resource for you. Until next week, have a great day, everyone.